Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening, I'm glad you guys are here. Today we are going to do a knife comparison, knife off, knife battle, and look at a couple of similarly sized price fixed blades that are both fantastic knives, and then apply them to these different variables, materials, ergonomics, carry, retention, aesthetics, sliciness, durability, and overall value. Come with a total score. It's purely subjective, guys. Some of the things will be objective, but most of it's just looking at some points together, determining if this new StraightLine knives Erny is going to be a contender for this tried and true in my collection Boker knives Barlow BFF. So what you can see is they're both small EDC fixed blade knives. The Boker is going to be an AEB-L. It's going to have a Stonewash blade with a drop point. It's designed by Burnley, has pinned micarta handles with the lanyard loop, and nice micarta handles. Just again, designed by Burnley, has a nice little sharpening choil, nice little ricotta there, and just a small 4-finger knife. Made in Solingen, Germany. By comparison, we have this little StraightLine EDC, which looks and reminds me a lot of Viper knives, the most recent Viper knives. This little knife is made in Italy. It's also a 4-finger knife, has a nice little sharpening choil, straight blade, reverse tanto. This comes in a couple of different blade shapes. The one I chose to compare it against is going to be the Erny here. A little bit thinner in overall dimension. Not when it comes to the heel. The heels are right around the same, but the overall width is going to be a little bit thinner. Now you do have the lanyard hole on the Boker, pretty proud. You've got a concealed lanyard hole on the Erny and on its sister, the Alley. So you can simply take the scale off, thread your 500 paracord if you want a thick lanyard or leather through there, loop it through, tie your scale back down, and then tie your paracord off. Or you can fish some thinner through there. So you do have that, even though it's not as apparent. So when we look at these two knives, they look very, very similar. They look like they take the same pocket space with these great included Sheath pocket droppers. The Boker comes with this black leather one that has a clip built into it so you can drop it in your pocket, whereas this Italian one comes also in a brown leather that you can drop it in your pocket same way, and then just use the magnets to catch when you drop it, where you drop it. So both of them are great retention methods. We'll get to that when we talk about those. But when we're just looking at materials, we've got to see at what your preference is going to be. I've got a preference, you've got a preference, but let's just look at the differences here. So we have solid traditional construction with brass pins, micarta handle on an AEB-L steel, blade steel. Good blade steel, a little bit softer than the M3690 that's used on the Erny. The Erny also uses a screwed system, which some people might find that not as appealing. I kind of like that. You've got a thinner scale, but you do have this contouring around the scale. You also have a full crown spine, and you've got this hidden lanyard tube here in the back if you want to utilize it. M390 versus AEB-L, crown spine versus a straight spine. Tall flat grind versus a half flat grind. I think personally, again this is subjective, the materials for me are more desirable on the Erny than on the BFF. So I'm going to give 1 point to the StraightLine, and then we'll look at ergonomics. So ergonomics are where the Barlow BFF picks up some points and really shines. And why that is the same reason that I like the Erny and the Alley, is because of their thin grips, their minimalistic profiles, their minimalistic carries. But when I hold this knife in my hand, I'm right up against the choil. So I do feel the blade there. Am I in danger of cutting myself? Not if I'm paying attention, no. But you have this ricotta here on the Barlow, and you have a little bit thicker, rounded, more contoured scales. So to me, the ergonomics are night and day. This knife really feels like an extension of my hand, where the Erny feels like a great small knife. So this guy comes in at 0.455 inches. This guy is going to come in at 0.39. So a combination of not having that dedicated ricassa up there and not having those thicker contoured scales, to me, give the ergonomic win to the Boker Barlow BFF. So that'll leave them tied up after one. So carry. This is where it gets a little bit interesting and even more subjective. So I carry both of these in my pocket. I can't even get my pocket over there, but let's pretend this is my back pocket here. I will fashion a back pocket. So that's my back pocket. Now that didn't fashion a very good back pocket. Let's try this one. This will be my back pocket. So that's my back pocket. So what I do is I slip the knife inside my back pocket to the bottom of my back pocket and then lock it in place. I do the same with one with an ulti-clip or a clip. Pull that clip, which is a little bit stiff, a little harder to get in and out of the pocket, but does retain better. So that's both of them in a back pocket. And then when you go to retain and pull the knife, you just pull the knife and it comes out. This one probably holds in the pocket a little better because it's got a clip. However, this one pushes that because of its ease to go into a clip. And when I pull it just like that. So I'll have it in my back pocket, for example. Putting it in my back pocket now. I reach back, I pull the knife out while I'm holding the foot of the leather down, just pushing on it right here. So they both carry very well. This one probably is going to carry more stably because it does have that hook. So it's going to lock in the pocket harder. So both of them have a low carry profile. Both of them work very well. This one's easier to get in and out of the pocket. This one, however, stays in the pocket a little better. So I'm going to give that point to the Boker. Now retention. That's where you look at it and I can feel this one shake around a little bit. It could come out. This one's not coming out. Out of fairness, this is a newer knife. It hasn't had as much time in the sheath to form it, but I do feel that looking at the way that this sheath is built, the way that it's tightened up with a thicker string, thicker thread, this one's going to retain better than this one, keeping the knife in the sheath. So the retention is going to go over to the StraightLine. And then we have aesthetics. Guys, your guess is as good as mine on this. I'm going to tell you where I'm coming from on the aesthetics and why I'm leaning to the StraightLine. The Boker Barlow BFF is a proven kind of timeless design that looks like a basic bitch knife to me. It's a great cutter. I bought it for that reason because it looked like a basic knife that I remembered when I was a kid. If we're talking about aesthetics, I look at a tall flat grind, cleaver type of blade with a more nimble, narrow handle. Yes, it didn't have the greatest ergonomics, but aesthetically, this knife with this sheath is more aesthetically pleasing to me than this knife with this sheath. So just to keep it short and keep it on the reel, we're going to give aesthetics. Wrong. To the StraightLine. And then we come to sliciness. So both of these knives are very, very slicey. The Boker is a laser beam. However, the Erny is a lightsaber. The Erny's tall flat grind outcuts the our little Boker BFF simply because the blade geometry is set up so differently. So thin, perfect blade geometry, nice blade geometry, pushing through a little more material on the blade as I go up the blade, whereas with the Erny, it's just simply a lightsaber. So looking at both of these knives being great slicers, either one of these knives excels in any of these categories. I'm just having to pick a subjective winner after I do what little comparison that we're doing here. So take it with a grain of salt. But I can definitely say that the slicey is going to the StraightLine. Durability. You've got a heavier, thicker spined knife in AEB-L steel that in my opinion is going to be a little tougher than M390. M390 might be a little better on edge retention. Just in the overall girth and thickness in this knife, I'm going to give the durability to the Boker. And then it comes down to value. So the Boker Barlow ranges anywhere from $225 upwards with carbon fiber handles to about $260, $270. The StraightLine runs from about $164 to $184 on the high end. So $184 for M390 and canvas micarta versus $225 for AEB-L and canvas micarta. Guys, that could be a draw. You might have a different opinion, but I look at the better value coming in for the lower price model with the better blade steel, in my opinion. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. So in this case, in this little battle, the StraightLine Erny came in on top of the Boker Barlow. Guys, this is a little test I put together for entertainment, for fun, to compare a couple of very similar knives in ways I might not have compared them. It's not scientific. It doesn't say that this knife is better than this knife. It doesn't even come close. It just goes through a little comparison. Get a chart like this, put some of your knives side by side, your favorites from some that are similar that might not be your favorites, and judge them along these basic variables. Add a few variables, action, things like that if it's a folder. You'll be surprised at how your favorite knife scores. But guys, that was the knife battle between the Boker Barlow BFF and the StraightLine EDC Erny. StraightLine Erny came out on top. They're both great knives. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. I want to thank all the channel members for watching. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I want to thank anyone who subscribes to the channel. Thank you. And encourage anyone who comes in and checks out the channel, the Knife to EDC content. Please hit that subscribe button, that bell notification icon. It really does help. Most importantly, look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.